go in and get going nice and early. Of course, a little bit different trajectories for how that took off, but now we're here in summer. Both of these teams got everything to prove. This is where you've really got to show what it's all about. Back in Lock-in, you can say, yeah, this is a kind of short split. It's added on extra. Spring is like, okay, it's not as important as summer. Summer's where it really counts. Let's go ahead and get into it. Cassiopeia and Poppy and Jace banned out by TL. C9 getting rid of Lee Sin and Orianna.
So Locke and Nocturne are the two that are getting perm banned usually, and both are not banned right now. So C9 has to decide, do we want to trade, or are we actually just going to leave, one up? Or are they going to ban out Locke, which is getting banned a tremendous amount? And they're going to ban Vi. So Locke is up and available. We might get the first Locke of LCS right here, right now. We'll see if Quid wants to go for it. Locke and Nocturne are the two picks that I'm really thinking of as those kind of prime picks right now. Two of the three most banned globally on this patch.
And when you think of Quid, you think of somebody who kind of built his name in LCS when people first started kind of turning heads towards this guy and how good he can be. You think of him on melee carries, right? You think that this fits right into the wheelhouse of what he would be able to play. And sure enough, there he is. All right, I'm going to hand it over to you, Ezreal, while I type in League of Legends.
I got you, brother. We got Ashen Pursuit, we got Purgatory, we got Ritual Nails, we got Silver Stake and Soul Ignition.
Yep.
Just download them.
I'm reading all of those right now too. That's
So we got Akali as the answer. And this was something that I was really curious about, because Akali, another champion that is receiving a lot of bans, and it is another one of those powerful melee champs. So we're looking like we're going to have a couple of AP assassins here in the mid lane. Ezreal also, the most highly prized bot laner right now. Ezreal and Ziggs are the two that most players are going towards. Kai'Sa would make sense, though. It is kind of that traditional old school counter towards Ezreal, something that can really answer him in mid lane and side lanes, can take those 1v1s pretty effectively. And it will be interesting to see if they want to go towards Nautilus. Obviously, Nautilus not only good into the Ezreal, but I feel like Nautilus is good into Akali as well. Sure, you can Shroud if the depth charge is coming in, but you still get knocked up and revealed, and the hook and the follow-up is going to be there thereafter. So feels like it makes a lot of sense here, even though Kai'Sa not as popular as it was back in the day. It's still a really popular pick, especially with Ezreal so prevalent in the meta.
Look, man, I know that Xayah and Rakan are written into League of Legends lore as a canonical couple, but Kai'Sa and Nautilus are the same thing in pro play. These two have been picked together time and time and time again.
What is Nautilus?
What?
Is there a dude in a suit? Or
he's the thing from BioShock.
So is it a guy in a suit? That's still not answering my question.
Clanky man. I don't know.
Is it just you with an outfit, or is it like some eternal being? Give me the lore, brother.
He's some guy. I don't know what the lore is. I can't read. He's there though. He's Kai'Sa's partner in crime. He's there. And you know who else is there? It's Leona. This is a champion
there too
that can often be very successful against other engaged supports, because Leona will just be able to outstat them when it comes to the fight.
You press W, you are a lot tankier. Nautilus is kind of a fake tank. Nautilus is great as far as the engage is concerned, as far as the CC is concerned. The OG invade, I like that poster. But yeah, I mean, Nautilus goes in and Leona can kind of just intercept and go onto the Nautilus, and you can just kind of generally win out in those trades. Nefiri going to be the ban here, as there has been a lot of AD junglers getting taken out. We've obviously seen the Poppy getting banned, but a lot of focus towards Jose. We have seen this over the last couple months very consistently against TL. Jose has just been on fire. At MSI, he was incredible as well. So now it is Lee Sin, Nefiri, Vi, all banned against him. The Vayne says to me that Morgan wants to play Gnar, which is obviously one of his kind of bread and butter champs. These days, you generally see Vayne and sometimes also TF as those protection bans for Gnar, so that's kind of what is leading me to believe. But it does seem like with the Trundle ban, we could be getting a potential Xin Zhao for Blaber, or we could be seeing Thanatos thinking about a tank himself.
4 out of 5 bans towards Jose, man. That is so much respect for this guy in the jungle.
And it doesn't even feel like it's a bad move. Like, he's just playing that well.
He was, I 100% agree. At MSI, he was like the engine for Team Liquid in so much of what they were able to do. There's your ban for the Gnar coming out from Team Liquid. They do not want to give Thanatos one of his main champs.
Yeah, I just find the Vayne ban confusing then, to be honest. Because generally Vayne is considered a counter to Gnar, so you generally wouldn't be the one banning both, right? Because you're generally banning Vayne so you can play Gnar, but then they kind of like opened up the ability to play Gnar and then banned Gnar as well. So that was a bit surprising to me. But C9 considering Skarner here, which is Really strong these days. Honestly, a tremendous amount of CC here between the Leona as well as that Skarner. Locke obviously really reliant on mobility as well as the W to stay alive. You can reactivate your W heal during CC, so that is up and available there for Locke. But Assassins always struggle against CC. Kai'Sa is going to be diving in. Locke is going to be diving in. And if you can lock them down, CC them up here with the Skarner, with the Leona, that could be pretty powerful.
I mean, even in, like, back before Skarner got his rework, I was always of the opinion that Skarner was the strongest in a meta where assassins are viable and assassins are powerful. Because for a champion whose supposed weakness should be target access, when the targets come to you, you sit on your carry, you peel for your carry, the assassin is going to have a very difficult job. So Wukong, Renekton, locked in here for Team Liquid. And over on the other side, we will get the Rumble for Thanatos on C9.
Yeah, Thanatos going to be grabbing that Rumble. Going to be set up pretty effectively, you have to think, by the Skarner and Leona. Some good lockdown there. And a lot of engage, honestly, on both sides. There is the ability to pick people off from both sides. You have Nautilus and Wukong for the potential engage. Obviously, Morgan can come in on flanks. And on the other side, you're looking at Vulcan and Blaber to set up these fights. It's kind of similar styles of compositions, honestly. Some slight differences, but they both are running pretty normal stuff here across the board. I'm just really excited to see how Quid performs on this lock. First lock of LCS, and it's one of our melee specialists getting to play it, and he's getting to play it in this match against Loki, where Loki is back with C9. He's in his return. He's playing an AP assassin of his own. These kind of matchups can get crazy snowbally because assassins generally have much more, poor wave clear. Their fallback patterns are a lot worse. So if someone gets ahead, it could get pretty one-sided.
I mean, they're the opposite of what we talk about when we think of like Maokai's and Sejuani's and things where it's like, yeah, the kit does the job no matter how much gold you have. It's fine if you're a pauper. It's not going to really matter that much. It's not really okay to be poor as Akali or Locke, all right? You've got to make sure you're flying first class on these guys. And I'm really excited to see what Quid can do with it again. I think it's pretty audacious to leave it open against a melee specialist like we're talking about. We'll see if this backfires or not. If C9 ends up wishing they would have kept that one banned away. But first lock of the LCS, locked in for Quid, making our way to the Rift for game number 1 on this one. C9 and TL. I think it's also interesting because, if we would have beaten HLE, if Lion would have beaten HLE at MSI, NA would have 4 seeds at Worlds. Since Lion did not succeed at that, we have our usual 3. And I think most people are considering Lion, FlyQuest, and the 2 teams here on the Rift right now as the ones really in contention for those spots. So your results against those other top teams are going to matter a lot in terms of your placement.
Yeah, it absolutely does for confidence and, for getting that upper bracket advantage, trying to stay as safe as you possibly can, keep that extra life in playoffs. I mean, this is what the whole year really does build towards, is Summer Split. And there's so much importance on making Worlds, especially in a year where it's in NA, right? It is local. This is an opportunity for these teams to, build fandom, to, have themselves exposed to so much of a massive audience. It's also worth mentioning, this is Emily's match of the week. And I gotta say, I feel bad for Raz because it feels like Emily gets first pick of the litter. And Raz is just left with the scraps.
Raz also makes interesting choices sometimes, as now Quid throws out some of those nails towards Loki here in the mid lane, just drinking the potions, healing back up. Remember that he gets 3 nails every time he tosses them out. The slow will stack as that collides. Loki back with C9. After leaving at the end of last year, he went back to Korea for personal reasons. Now that's been taken care of. He's returned to North America here with C9, and they're looking for this to be a big addition back to the team. He had some really impressive moments when he was with them last year, and I'm excited to see him back.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he was a really strong addition to the team, and you can see they even said, hey, we didn't want to get rid of Loki. It's just the way it worked out. He had to go back to Korea, so they unfortunately were without him, and were given the opportunity to bring Loki back and did so immediately. So we'll see how he can hit the ground running here after playing in the LCK again for a while. He is back and fighting against Quid and has not based just yet. But Quid doesn't want to trade too heavily after TPing before Loki TP's back, so just kind of keeping things even for now across the board. Really, all the lanes are just very, very even.
Well, the nice part for Locke against the Akali is because everything's a skill shot, if you have the idea of where he's at in the smoke, you can still do a lot of damage to him despite the fact that Loki might be in that normally very powerful defensive ability. Quid will just go ahead, pop a Soul Ignition, disengage off to the side here in the river. As we take a look at the junglers, we can see Josedeodo has already gone back for his first shop, as has Blaber, but Jose has the slightly better purchase.
Yep, does have that better purchase. But before the game, Vulcan had a very important question to ask Dom. Let's take a listen.
Yo, Dom.
What's up?
On the broadcast, they were showing a collection of your slender tactical tweets.
How many did I have?
There's like 5.
I got 5
like
slender
5
tactical?
tweets.
That's it? I'm slacking,
Yeah,
no?
I mean, I think they didn't pull all of them, maybe.
Oh, okay.
And then went straight to your interview with Ezreal. What did he ask you?
He's like, why did you use the slander tactical? I was like, I don't know. He's probably into it. Like, I don't know. Like, what do you want from me? Like,
5, that's it?
I like how it looks like Vulcan is waving to the camera, knowing that that's going to be pulled.
It's just like,
he knows
all right.
exactly what he's doing.
For sure.
That's
Clip
an
it and
LCS
ship
bet
it.
right there.
All right, pretty slow early game here for the first 4 minutes. Yesterday, we got to see some pretty wild gameplay in our FlyQuest versus Lion head-to-head, but Team Liquid and C9 playing a little bit more patient here in Game 1 today. As you can see, Quid step forward yet again, throwing out those nails, but not a whole lot of results other than clearing the win.
How do you feel about the Western theme skins?
I think they're pretty cool. The high noon ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're pretty dope.
Those are like top tier for me. I love the sound effects. I don't even care what they look like, to be honest with you. I just love the sound effects.
No, they're super cool. I like them a lot. I know that you and I have disagreed on some skins before because you really like Pajama Udyr, and I think it's just stupid. But
That's why I like it. You
We
just- you
really
just
agree
said
on
the
the high
reason to like
noon.
it.
Dredgeline comes in, collides with Tactical, but a nice essence shift.
Not sure
gets
where the
him out of the
breakdown of
way there.
communication is here.
No, it's... We
You're
are
like, I don't get
valuing
why
the
you like
stupidity
Pajama Urgot. It looks so
differently.
stupid. I'm like, yes, exactly. That's why it's great.
We're valuing this one differently, bro. It's decent attempt at the engage at the bottom side. Doesn't turn into a whole lot. Josedeodo is going to go ahead start up this Drake solo, but the problem is Blaber is nearby. Now, of course, Team Liquid does have priority in the bottom lane, as Blaber will step forward. Jose not particularly fast at taking out this Drake. You can see he's stopped DPS now, as Loki will rotate over towards the area. And now it's going to be Blaber maintaining control over the Drake, as Jose has had to disengage. Blaber wants to try to finish this one off. CoreJJ is wrapping around here, but Vulcan is going to join with both supports now showing their faces. It means that there's no contest available for TL, so C9 is going to get Drake #1, easy peasy.
Yeah, I mean, you can see Wukong just gave it up immediately. Jose was over there just farming up his Krugs, not going to look for any sort of a contest. Loki had first move from mid. They had the Leona there faster as well, so wasn't really going to happen for a TL. And when you realize that the jig is up, all right, time to go do something else. You know, it's not going to work. Don't try to force it, and just continue to play your game. You can see Core moving through mid here, trying to help Quid get some prio, and so far, very, very quiet start to this game.
Yeah.
Not really even a lot of scrapping, to be honest, across the board. Just some kind of basic trades back and forth, but both teams feeling pretty comfortable and feeling, I think, pretty confident in their ability to take team fights. You know, both teams are kind of built fairly similarly, so it makes sense that no one is really feeling a lot of pressure on either side to kind of try to force something. I mean, it's really kind of down the line. You both got marksmen, you both got engaged supports, you both got AP assassins, you got like kind of bruisers in top lane. It's very, very similar.
And I mean, even the lanes themselves, look at these gold differences. It's nothing worth writing home about. It's not like anybody is building a decided advantage for themselves in their 1v1s,
Your
in their
mom would
2v2s.
still like if you wrote, though.
What?
You said it's not worth writing home about.
Oh, well, no, my parents would probably more like a letter from you. Like, let's be honest here. We know who their favorite caster is, but this is not exactly the most interesting tale to tell about the state of a game here between TL and C9. It is slow and steady. This is the opposite of that first series yesterday.
Yeah, it's exactly. That maybe it'll ramp up, you know?
Okay.
Maybe we're just building up to the epic conclusion.
Okay. It's like a magic card.
Yeah.
In Pokemon, right?
Exactly.
It doesn't do anything but splash for 20 levels. But then once you get to level 20,
Yeah.
that's when you're really feeling
That's when
good
it's
about
time
it.
to go hard.
Okay.
Or
so,
like Dune, you know? Great movie, but a little bit slow for a while.
yeah, it was definitely slow for a while there at the...
But it was worth it by the end, right?
Yeah,
The sandworm comes and eats somebody, you're like, oh, hell yeah.
By the end, it's really cool, but it takes a while to get there.
Just like this game.
I'll agree. You know, the first time I remember watching the first Lord of the Rings movie, back when it first came out,
Yep.
I was watching it with my family because, you know, I was like 10 years old or whatever. and it gets to the end of the first film. We didn't know it was a trilogy, and my dad just goes, "Wait, what the hell? That's how it ends?" Because we weren't expecting that. And I still remember that and laugh about it.
What about the evil eye?
I was like, wait, yeah, they're just standing on a hill? We didn't even fight the real bad guy. All right, let's see if we can get a fight here against these bad guys. And immediately Team Liquid's going in. Vulcan going to soak a bunch of damage, chipping the front line, but a nice impale, ready to turn it around. Coming out from Blaber. Vulcan goes over the wall, but he goes down. It's first blood over to Quid as Loki takes out Josedeodo. Quid going back in, looking to find another one, and CoreJJ picks up the kill on Loki. It's 2-1 so far. Tactical trying to fire back as Blaber gets the slam over into the wall, and Tactical shifts forward. Quid still trying to get away. Tactical going after him. Quid is running into the enemy jungle, as now Blaber's got to be a little bit careful here against CoreJJ. Core putting some damage here into the Skarner. Blaber should be able to get away from this. There's no way Blaber's going to die to something ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. Blaber for the crab. For the crab!
It's the call of the crab.
Son of
no
a
jungler can
crab.
resist it. Oh, man. CoreJJ used that crab as bait. Hook, line, and sinker. Got him.
Yep, normally you use worms, but against C9, you use crabs. All right, so 3-2 when the dust settles. We did get ourselves a pretty explosive fight once the PvP finally started.
Just had to be patience. And a little bit of patience, and you will be rewarded here. Quid ends up getting first blood, but both the assassins grab the kill. The game stays very, very even here, and C9 already had taken one of the grubs, so TL will clean up the rest of them, and we will move forward here as everyone was down to scrap for this. This initial engage looking very good. The two-man impale came through, and you can see that True Shot Barrage from Tactical went through multiple members. There's so much upfront damage, but on the other side, it was Quid helping to burst through these people. You can see how much mobility Locke has. He's kind of just dipping in and out of these fights constantly, trying to keep that threat on, staying around even at low health because he knows he has the mobility to escape afterwards. And then this, I thought Blaber was baiting. I thought Blaber was going to have his shield ready and then like hit the shield as Core hooks in and then stun him into the wall and they were going to kill him or something. But he just didn't have it, I guess, and didn't expect that Core would go back in.
See, I was hoping that that's what it was, but I also was thinking that it wasn't, and he was just getting a little too ahead of himself. But now up here with the top side, as soon as we're back, Quid is back at it. Up here with the top side, makes the roam over to top lane, and he and Morgan work together to get a kill onto Thanatos. So Locke is off to the races, my friend. 2-0-2 now in this game. 100% kill participation. Has a couple of those for the extra money. Blaber's going to go ahead, grab your MasterCard. Power spike there with that Protoplasm harness. This thing is so strong. That proc effect is so effective at preventing what would otherwise be a death. I really like this as a first item, particularly on junglers that can do a lot with it like Skarner does, as the dragon should be secured here by C9. So Team Liquid might have the advantage in terms of kills, in terms of gold, but C9's done a good job getting those first two Drakes. Now Tactical's going to be in some danger. Josedeodo down here in the bottom lane, and TL picks up their fifth.
Nicely done. Just flash out, ult onto Tactical, and there's nowhere he can go, no way to escape. Yeon was still holding onto the killer instinct, so even if he had his flash, it would not have mattered. And this is, I guess, how they set up that previous play. Was the TP in from Quid, just came in behind, and very difficult for Thanatos to do anything from that position. He realized he was dead to rights, so did use the equalizer, but kind of just accepted his death thereafter.
And remember, the more kills Quid can manage to get with Purgatory, with that ultimate, the higher the execution threshold on the ability is going to become. So snowballing for this champion, even stronger than it is compared to most other characters in the game. Quid already off to this good start. Definitely going to be scary. Definitely going to be a problem that C9 will have to contain if they want to have a chance. Because we went from this very even game state with nothing happening to a fight around the grubs, a subsequent pick in top and bottom lane both, and Team Liquid's up 2,000 gold.
Yeah, they are. And he already has increased the bonus XQ threshold by 1%, so it's 10% based on rank 1, and then he gets an additional 1% for the souls that he has collected thus far.
And it's important to note, too, I think, that the rank up of the skill is 1% per level. It goes 10, 11, 12. So what he's done so far is an extra level in his ultimate for execution. That feels really strong.
Yeah, especially if you do have a game that was like the games we were casting yesterday, where it gets super bloody and you're just having non-stop fights. It can become very, very relevant when you do ramp up that XQ. execute because Locke does so much upfront burst. It is really hard to survive the combo from a Locke if he gets ahead of the pace of the game at all, and then you're giving him additional execute threshold, and it becomes almost impossible.
It becomes haha Lamau XD release Smolder again. So that's probably not the world that C9 wants to live in. They will definitely need to mark Quid on every single fight, as Yeon does a good job trading with Tactical here in mid lane, sidesteps that last Mystic shot too to make sure that he wins out in the trade, but there's nothing for the teams to really fight over right now. Still 3 minutes until the Drake, a little under 2 minutes till Rift Herald.
Yeah, there's so many melee champions in this game too. It was kind of interesting, you know, Blaber obviously going Protoplasm, which is very standard, but I was wondering if it would be a game for like Grass Part Steal since it was going Grass, because there are 4 melee champs. If you're not getting focused down early, you can sometimes get tons of value from that item, but we haven't seen any kind of tech that I would consider is kind of, you know, an answer to all of these melee champs, but both sides have 4 melee champions, and it feels like we are moving more and more in that direction in this current meta.
Yeah.
We saw yesterday we had, you know, Jace versus Sylas bot. We are having all kinds of these kind of just brawly comps that can turn into really, really bloody games.
And I feel like that does make Skarner much better. Modern Skarner with the AoE Impale that has that long wind-up time, it can be kind of tricky to land it on a high-value carry target that's a ranged champion. But when everybody just goes into a big pile of melees, very, very easy to get multiple targets as Vulcan's making his way up here into the top side. Josedeodo following. So that means that this 1v1 between the top laners is just going to fizzle out. Both ultimates were committed there. Both players dropping down to about half HP.
Yep, and both teams end up just covering their top laners here. And sometimes that's what proper play looks like, is that nothing happens because both teams covered. Both teams anticipated the play, and it's neutralized, exactly as you say. And that was the case there. Of course, you know, Vulcan coming in, they would have been able to take that 2v1, but when you see Jose and Core moving up to answer, then of course there is no play to be had. And you can see Quid going on back to base. Already has 6 stacks on the Dark Seal as well, which is going to be really nice. Got that as an early buy, and is going to be feeling pretty good about it thus far.
All right, C9 just trying to maintain control in their own jungle here. As you can see, Team Liquid setting up some defensive wards, offensive wards, I guess I would say, because they're in the enemy jungle. They want to make sure that C9 can't do anything about this Rift Herald fight. Mid laners dueling down here in the bottom side. Quid healing back up for the Soul Ignition. Can be so frustrating to trade with this guy because of how much he can heal with that W.
Yeah, it is really difficult to actually play around sometimes as well, because there is that reactivation even during CC. Is something that can make it quite strong. But we'll see. Game like this, always when it is going a little bit slower, when the fights do break out, they are that much more important. And I feel like we are going to have a fight here at this next Dragon. I think especially in a game like this where it is so brawly, where there's so many melee champions, Ocean Soul is actually quite valuable, and C9 did get the first 2 Dragons here. Next one spawning in 15, and I think TL is going to want to stop that stack towards Soul.
All right, Team Liquid, let's see if you can manage to get the control that you need. C9 does at least own this brush on the bottom side of mid lane. Yeon wants to step forward, try to chunk out Tactical and Vulcan a little bit, but he won't get much for it. Blaber also hanging around. CoreJJ hits the dredge line, but again, a nice arcane shift from Tactical means that it's kind of just CoreJJ losing his Aftershock proc there.
Yeah, Tactical is taking a bit of damage, though, at the end of the day. You know, he did take an auto or 2 from Yeon. He took that hook from Core. Now he's down almost a half HP, so slowly getting whittled away on. And I think that is actually going to cause C9 to just give this up. I don't think they're going to contest it very heavily anymore. I could be wrong, but I just feel like with Ezreal low, it doesn't make sense, so they're going to make the call to just back off and cede this one over to TL. So the game will stay very, very close here. It is that just under 2K gold lead for TL, but doesn't really mean that much at this point in the game.
Yeah, it still could go either way very easily, just depending on if somebody gets a really good team fight engage, starts off with a pick or something. Josedeodo wants to try to contest Blaber here for the crab, but Vulcan waiting in the brush is ready to turn things around. They want to commit the Solar Flare. Josedeodo flashing away to stay alive as Yeon rotates over into the fight. True shot barrage hitting the target from a long way away. Loki's got the assassination, and Josedeodo is down. Jose just getting a little ahead of himself there. Wanted to contest the crab against Blaber, but was not respecting the fact that other players from C9 were able to join.
Yeah, exactly, and they had that earlier reset because they weren't actually contesting. Quid looking for Loki, though, who has no ult available.
See, normally I don't get really anticipatory when the target is starting at 100% HP, but it's Locke.
Yeah,
so
he hits you with 2 nails and autos you and you die.
Yeah, it's 2 Qs. He E's you, he gets the thing, throws the Purgatory on you, and you blow up.
Yeah.
So
it is crazy how much damage this champion can do when things are working in his favor. Especially when you look sometimes at the build, and you're like, he's got Merc Treads, he's got a Kindle Gem, like
he's got a Lich Bane.
Yeah.
Well, the Lich Bane is enough.
The Lich Bane is enough.
Turns out the E priming your next attack with extra damage, plus the Lich Bane damage, plus the nail explosion damage.
It's a lot.
Your health bar disappears, and then you get 8 by the grenade.
Well, Yeon is on 2 items now, just kind of quietly been farming it up here. Both AD carries farming well, but Yeon definitely ahead of the pace a little bit here. You know, did get that call and has paid dividends now at this point. And will be difficult, I think, sometimes for C9 to deal with. You know, if they can't actually lock him down immediately, Kai'Sa is going to be problematic. There are a lot of easy targets for Kai'Sa to be auto-attacking against a team like this, and this is one of those games where, you know, Lethal Tempo, Kraken, Rageblade, he's probably going to get really good value. Like, it's probably going to get stacked on someone, and Kai'Sa can really start to put out a crazy amount of damage in that case.
Okay, Quid got to get away now as Blaber shows up towards this bottom side tri-brush at the entrance to the jungle. Does not want to allow Locke to set a trap anywhere for anyone on his team. It's 19 minutes into the game, and no turrets are dead. This mid lane tier 1 is looking a little worse for wear on the C9 side. Rift Herald summoned up since TL was able to secure that earlier, and the charge will take care of it. So finally, 19 minutes, 14 seconds into the game, we get our first turret take.
I mean, that's a game with 8 melee champs, right? No one can siege. And it's so dangerous to actually walk up as a melee champ in front of another melee champ and try to start hitting the tower. So you generally have to win fights to take objectives. So, you know, it is going to be about the brawls when they do finally opt into it. Both teams, though, playing pretty quietly, playing pretty patiently. And we are looking to just a game that seems like a slow build towards Seoul.
And something else we're building towards is our Summer Championship to the Gas South Arena in Atlanta, Georgia on October 3rd and 4th. You can go ahead and get your tickets now with that QR code on the screen. Should be a fun time. Last time we were in Atlanta, I believe, was Worlds 2022 in the semifinals phase. So going to be heading back there here real soon. Thanatos trying to trade aggressively into Quid, who throws out the Purgatory, and as soon as you see that circle on the ground, Thanatos instantly flash. He wanted nothing to do with it.
Yep, it says, sorry, and flashes out of there.
My bad, bro.
Gets out, no problem. It is going to survive. And as the game is going slow, we got a little bit of time to talk about things that have happened in the past.
Yeah, so this is obviously a pretty sore spot for a lot of C9 fans right now. Great regular season, like Jat mentioned, on Waiting Room, but then playoffs was a crash and burn to the point where MSI post-game threads, whenever someone would get swept, and remember there were a lot of sweeps at MSI, especially in those early phases, one of the comments would always inevitably be, yeah, but imagine being C9 right now, because they didn't make it there. The fans are very angry at this team, and it feels like all of the benevolence, all the goodwill they built up in the regular season ended up falling by the wayside for the disappointment that playoffs was in spring.
And I mean, I get it. It's been a lot of times in a row that C9 has fallen short at that last hurdle before getting to international, but people, I think, are being a bit too negative because is it playoffs, Flowers?
No.
Or is it the regular season?
It's week 1.
Is it day 1 of the regular season for Cloud9? They're just about to start powering up.
Okay, so
this is their time.
This is the beginning of the week.
We are here. We're not here.
Okay.
Don't worry about that. Don't look over there.
Don't look at the numbers at the end. Only look at the good numbers.
Exactly.
Okay, all right. Looking on the bright side of life. I can respect that. I feel like that's got to be your plan if you're on C9 too. You know that you ran the show for the majority of spring, but just couldn't clutch it up when you really had to. So hopefully for them, they've got more of that X factor when push comes to shove, because right now we're going to have another one of those push versus shove moments as the next dragon is spawning. If C9 can secure it, they will move on to Soul Point, but the previous one, Team Liquid took without a contest.
Exactly. They were able to get enough poke down on Tactical. This time Yeon took a tiny bit of poke, so has Tactical, but both AD carries about dead even in health. And they're going to look for a fight.
Yep, supports immediately threatening one another as the dragon is begun by C9, but a TP is coming in deep from the Team Liquid top laner. Morgan all the way around, wrapped towards the backside of C9's roster. Josedeodo's got to be careful. He is marked with a Shuriken flip coming out from Loki, as now Morgan makes his way into the backline, looking to find the damage onto Tactical, but nobody else on the team from TL is ready to go. Equalizer thrown down defensively, looking to get Tactical and Vulcan out of danger. Morgan also down to 1/3 HP. Blaber and Thanatos trying to get the damage onto Jose, but the clone is the only thing taken low. C9 with the health bar advantage. Vulcan's the only one really in danger here. Blaber on the front line yet again. CoreJJ going to be taken low, but he flashes out, keeps himself alive for now. Thanatos still flame spitting. Tactical grabs the kill into Morgan. Blaber with a slam into the wall on Quid. The Locke has to flash away. More flame spitter damage coming out, and CoreJJ dies. Everybody on Team Liquid will evaporate, and Cloud9 clutches up the team fight. They're going to get 3 for nothing.
C9 coming up huge there. Handled that fight so well. They find Morgan on this flank here, and Vulcan and Tactical are just able to pump the damage into him. Even though Tactical is threatened somewhat, he played this very, very well, kiting back, pushing Morgan out. The equalizer comes through to cover and sections off both Quid and Morgan from the side. Then Jose has to flash away as Blaber flashed in for that impale. And C9 just have the bigger health bars. Tactical's the only one that took damage, and they're able to go back in here. Loki as well as Blaber tanking up the damage, diving in, and being able to set up their team for the fight. This looked like it was going to be a fight that could favor TL. They had the slight gold advantage. But this C9 walking away with 3 kills to 0, and they are now on sole point. And when you look at extended fights like that are really brawly, if you add in an Ocean Soul, it is going to feel pretty hopeless if you can't just one-shot someone to start the fight.
Exactly. That Team Liquid gold lead cut down by about 1,500. C9 now with the soul point threat for the rest of the game. Vulcan moves into the enemy jungle. Josedeodo with a quick clone over the wall. Keeps himself alive, but does lose his Gromp. That's more money in the C9 pockets, and they're going to get even more on top of it with the Tier 1 turret finally falling down. The gold nearly equalized now, and I really like what Loki did in that previous team fight. He throws a bunch of burst into Quid without committing the perfect execution, just so the Locke is scared to go in and try to get some sort of a counter burst. It keeps him on his back foot the entire fight. There was no way for TL to really try to find the counterpunch there.
Yeah, it seemed like a very difficult fight for them in general. Morgan was stifled pretty easily on that flank, and that was, a lot of what they were expecting to kind of really push things in their favor. Jose got chunked out very low early on in the fight, so you didn't have that kind of 1-2 punch of Morgan and Jose hitting at the same time. They couldn't dive in, create that chaos, and create the opportunity for Quid. And by the time Jose actually used his Cyclone, the fight was basically over. So,
yeah.
They need to be able to create that space for Quid. They need to be able to force cooldowns, force defenses to be able to be used on them so that it creates that space for Quid to go in and try to take over.
All right, Team Liquid is seeing if maybe they can find something inside the Cloud9 jungle here, just sweeping out. No wards for them to be spotted by thus far. Yeon and Jose just hoping maybe Vulcan Tactical gets a little careless, tries to step up. It's going to be Blaber face-checking into the brush first, as C9 is grouped up as a 4-man unit. Loki not quite with everybody else, but is nearby, ready to try to make an approach on the flank if a fight should break out. There is nothing to fight for right now. Worth pointing out, if they choose to go, it's just because they are bloodthirsty.
For the love of the game.
Yep, just fighting for the love of it.
You know what? I respect it.
Honestly, I do too. It's a PvP game.
Yep.
Right? It's PvP. You got to find another P and VP him. Now we've got the...
Need 2 Ps.
Well, we already have an engage up here in the top side now as Vulcan's going to be in some danger. Down about 40% HP. They want to try to find the execution, but Vulcan's staying alive. Quid goes on a killing spree and finds the first kill. Now Tactical's in danger. Quid is resetting. He's going in again and again. The shutdown onto the Ezreal. But now Blaber has also fallen. It's a 3 for 3 when the dust settles. Both mid laners still alive with Jose and Thanatos supporting those respective mids. The bodies hit the floor all over the place.
It is just a brawl, man. All of these melee champions go into the meat grinder. There's so much AoE CC, so much AoE damage coming out that at the end of the day, it is just that wash, the 3 for 3. Both AD carries get taken down, and the dust settles. No one can really siege, no one can push because they didn't get that decisive win.
No, I have no way of getting vision here. It's really hard.
I'm gonna walk up. Yeah.
Don't get us.
I think we do have to get rush. They're one-shotting get rush.
Guys, they can.
They're on me, on me. Wukong ult. Renekton beyond, okay? Don't get rush.
Yeah.
Look.
I hit Locke.
Cast an ult, no flash. Up to you guys. Look Renekton.
Kai'Sa.
Okay. Okay, Renekton.
Look,
Careful, Locke now.
Yep. Locke is E, Locke is E, Locke is E.
Good comms there, honestly, from C9. Very clear. And talking through the fact that they could be on Baron, they need to get vision. You know, they walked over, they were all on the same page, and pretty clean during that fight as well. So C9 seeming pretty locked in with their 2 members here in this first game, hoping to be able to take down TL, and TL is going to have to stop them in 45 seconds. It's really going to be about the setup, but TL wants to fight before that.
Yeah, they immediately go in. Jose with a 3-man knockup, but the tanky players on C9 are soaking the damage for now. A lot of burst onto Quid, but he recovers quickly. Now you've got the focus onto the back line, but Yeon stays alive. Shut down on Loki at the same time, coming out from Quid's Locke. As now, in the middle of everybody, Morgan still trying to find a little bit more. Quid following up, tactical in danger as the ritual nails will pound his coffin straight into the ground. Vulcan's the next to die most likely as Blaber tries to tunnel away through the wall. Josedeodo on the chase. Quid mops up another one, a double kill for the Team Liquid mid laner. Thanatos is the last man standing, and the Ashen Pursuit is a triple kill for Quid.
You see the resets coming through there for Quid, and he's able to take over the fight. Had the death cap complete right before that, and we can see this fight one more time. Yeon bought so much time as Core and Jose start off the fight. C9 decides to full send it on to Yeon. He repositions with the Killer Instinct, tanks that True Shot Barrage, flashes out. Loki can't get the final auto to finish him off, goes down, and that means that on the other side, look at all the space Morgan is creating. Going forward, tanks up the CC, gets the stun down, buys the time for Quid to get the reset, who then is just off to the races. Look at the passive auto coming through, finishes off another, and the amount of mobility that this guy has is just ridiculous. Chases in, gets another kill, and on live, we saw them over by the Baron.
Dragon Baron. Nice fight, guys.
Wait, what? This is the worst thing to come back to from a replay. Do you think Baron paused it?
Baron might have paused.
Sure.
Okay, so the update I've got is that Josedeodo's keyboard keeps disconnecting, so they're going to try to get that figured out.
It's still goofed. If it is still goofed, they are prepping a backup keyboard so we can just entirely swap it out.
Okay.
So there might be one more pause
We
if
didn't
it continues not to work.
So I feel,
yeah.
I'm feeling good about it.
Josedeodo, I hope that the keyboard is working still pretty well here because Team Liquid's in a great spot now. After that last fight, after grabbing the Baron, they're up 4,000 gold. Maw of Malmortia is fully complete now for Jose. That's 3 items. You already mentioned how the hat was purchased by Quid before that last fight. He's got his Chovy belt. He's also now got Medjai's Soul Stealer upgraded to start putting some pages in the book. And he's got a $700 bounty.
I mean, he had so much gold after that because he had just finished the death cap. He had spent all his gold right before that fight, went back, bought Medjai's and the Blighting Jewel. So is well on his way towards a Void Staff, and then he's 6 items at that point, unless he loses all his stacks and want to swap out the Medjai's or something. But Quid is yet to die this game. He's monster fed at this point, and he is going to have his eyes on Tactical. It is going to be up to Tactical to try to stay alive, but you can't just be sitting back and doing nothing but shooting Qs because your team needs you to do damage.
And that's kind of what I was wondering about after the draft got done. I said, we'll see if C9 ends up regretting letting this very powerful new champion through against a team that has a very skilled melee assassin mid lane player. And it feels like right now, you hit tab, you look at the scoreboard, you see 8-0 and 4.
There's a little regret.
Yeah, you're probably rethinking those draft decisions, at least up against a team like TL, as they now do have that Baron still for a little while longer, and they're going to push down this bottom lane. The tier 2 turret just barely hanging on, plenty of crust on that thing, just one auto attack. Honestly, ought to knock it over. And there it is, knocked out by Yeon. Meanwhile, over in mid, Quid's going to do the same thing to the tier 2 here. 5,000 gold lead now for TL, as they still have that tier 2 turret standing in the top lane to try to take out. It doesn't look like they're going to put a lot of pressure onto the tier 3s right now, and that goes back to what you were talking about earlier. 8 melee champions in a game means sieges are not as simple as they normally do.
Yeah, sieges just aren't really a thing, to be honest. I mean, you can push up, obviously, with Baron, and there's not great wave clear on the other side, so they are getting some towers taken down, but you're not going to crack the base without a fight, right? It's just not going to happen, because if you walk up as a melee champion, get CC'd under the tower, it is just so hard to take a fight from that position. It was a good True Shot Barrage from Tactical that cleared out actually a lot of the previous wave in top lane before that got Baron empowered. And it feels like TL is just going to kind of take what they have gotten for now. They go back, they spend up all their gold, they get back out on the map, and they're going to be looking to really set up shop around the Dragon area. In these next couple of minutes, they're going to try to really control vision in this whole section, make sure that there's no deep wards for TPs for C9, make sure that they are just choking them out vision-wise as much as they possibly can to get themselves the soul point without much of a contest from C9, because that's really the hope for C9 right now, is just being able to get that soul.
Yeah, C9 know that they got to try to pull themselves back into this game with a big move. They are very far down at this point for a game that's mostly been very close. That last big sequence of team fight into Baron has really skewed things far into Team Liquid's favor. When we're checking at fully completed items, now Maw of Malmortius also fully done for Yeon, so double Maws here on Jose and Yeon together is going to make the job of Loki to find these assassinations that much more difficult. Yeah, triple Maw, sorry, wasn't even looking at the crocodile up there in the top side. So Loki and Thanatos, the double AP solo laners on the C9 side, that damage is going to have a lot to punch through.
And I mean, that's why the Tactical's job is so important, right? You're looking at triple Maw, you're looking at 4 Merc Treads, so there's so much MR over on that side, and they're going to have to be able to try to punch through that. And Tactical is the only one dealing physical damage, so he has got to position well. He's got to get a lot of damage out, but he's also not got to get one shot by Quid, because Quid just finished the Void Staff. He is on 6 items here before this fight. And it is only 32 minutes into the game when he hit that 6 items. This guy is monster fed, so if Tactical mispositions at all, it could cost him his life, but that is a nice chunk onto Yeon. 30 seconds before Dragon. He's going to have to go back to base. There's no red buff to heal up off of. Maybe he can find a plant or something.
He does have the
red buff. Okay, he just picked it up.
He's already got his red buff, so he should be able to hang around for this one. But considering he had to step back, it does buy C9 the opportunity to step into the river and take priority over the area. Loki still hanging off to the side. In the bottom side, Tri-Brush, CoreJJ going in here with the dredge line. Vulcan's going to be your first target, and Quid is already legendary. Into the back line, he goes with Gone, and Tactical's gone. Blaber now trapped in the middle of the Team Liquid army, and there is no way home for the Scorpion. Impale buys him a moment, but that moment is nothing at all in the grand scheme of things. Team Liquid, they pick up 3 for free. It wasn't even a fight, man. They just found their moment. They instantly go in, and now it's just Thanatos and Loki trying to survive.
Yeah, and I thought TL might have tried to go for the end, but they don't feel that they can with their 4 melee champs, so they decide to push bot, they take mid and hib, they get the dragon at the same time, so they're kind of trying to make sure that they still have that fallback here and not full sending it to try to actually finish the game, and I think that was the correct call given the situation here. But Quid now on 18 stacks on the Magi's, getting even stronger. And like you said, that fight just was not close. I mean, C9 got pretty split up. Vulcan died instantly. Tactical is off on the side away from the rest of his team. And, you know, you have good mobility, but you're never escaping. Once Jose gets on you and the killer instinct comes through, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, and that's just rough stuff, man. Here's another look at how it started, because Vulcan's life is going to disappear.
Yeah, and Core just walks in and just says, we're strong enough, I'm just going to find a fight. Throws the ult onto Tactical with the flash. That sets up the killer instinct. Quid goes in. They immediately get back there, take him down. And it's just a great engage from Core, and it looks like we might be setting up for one more. Thanatos got spotted.
Yep, Baron is about to spawn. It is on the map right now. C9 going in, trying to find some damage onto Josedeodo, but they don't get much. Morgan wrapping around from the side. Vulcan could be your target. He and Blaber here in the front line. Loki tries to dive in after Quid, but he ain't going to find him. Quid throws down the Purgatory. Not enough damage here quite yet. Josedeodo is shut down. Nice kill going over to Tactical. Morgan might be the next to fall, but he still stays alive as Yeon assassinates Loki. C9 end up trading 1 for 1 here. Honestly, not too bad.
No, not bad at all. Morgan almost went down, but did survive. Vulcan got incredibly low, but survived also. That was really well positioned there by Tactical. He just kind of shifted back with his entire team in like an arc around him to protect him after he got hit by that depth charge that was thrown out there by CoreJJ. So it was pretty difficult for TL to actually follow up on it. If Yeon had just gone back in, all of C9 are there, ready to pounce, and this time they had that proper positioning, are able to trade kills here. But the Baron is on the table, and they know it's not being taken for now. 3 minutes until Soul, both teams at 3 dragons, and while it is a big gold lead for TL, there is no more room to grow for Quid, and Quid is going to be sitting on quite a lot of gold at this point, so all he can do is just chain buy elixirs, and that at least is something slightly helping out C9.
I like to use the word silver lining sometimes. This doesn't even feel like
bronze lining.
Silver. maybe an iron mining, right? There's some.
That one's extra grim. That one's like.
There's some minerals in the clouds right now. It's not so great as Blaber's eating a lot of damage here on the front line. Tries to go for the defensive impale, and he gets a lot back onto Quid, but he still dies. Quid is traded with them as Tactical's going to be your next target. Team Liquid diving in after the Ezreal, and they found their target. Not quite yet, but Morgan's able to find the kill with the Ruthless Predator. Now Thanatos about to drop. It was a double kill for the Rumble, but it will not matter. Only Vulcan still stands. Leona will not be able to clear the wave. It's 50-second death timers on almost everybody else. And finally, after a big bunch of bloody melee brawls, it's Team Liquid coming out on top, taking it into the Nexus.
Yeah, they're going to be able to take game one here. C9 thought they had a pick onto Quid, and they did kill him, but it cost them everything here as he just lived for so long. TL going to be able to finish this one up.
Yeah, Vulcan wants to try to waste a little bit of time, but ultimately, he's not going to be able to do enough. It's an ace. Yeon will take the final kill of game one. Team Liquid will pad their minion stats a little bit more. 22-14, TL goes up 1-0.
So the Locke debut in LCS, 10-1-7 for Quid. He was a problem playing those early fights, I think really, really well, and then